One of the craziest trade deadlines is behind us, so let's go to some trades which occurred. I'm not going to mention every single one if it doesn't have particular interest, but I'm going to try to go as much as possible. First one was, where is it? There we go. Golden State Warriors getting Dennis Schroeder. It didn't pay out on the long terms, but it really helped in the trades which later occurred. Next one, Los Angeles Lakers getting Dorian Finney-Smith for D'Lo. It didn't make too much sense, considering that D'Lo is more offensive player and you are getting defensive one, but as we know by now, it kind of really aligned with LA Lakers. Next one, Nick Richards, center from Charlotte, went to the Phoenix Suns, which is quite obvious considering they gonna rid of Yusuf Nurkic, who was relationship with Phoenix Suns deteriorated to that point that he was sitting on the bench. We don't know what's the exactly cause of all of that, but it was clear that they need another center. And team itself is just absolute chaos. I mean, one moment they want to trade Bradley Beal, but he doesn't want to go. Then they are trading Durant with him even any interest in trade. It was just mess at the end, but we're going to talk about that later. There was some first round picks exchange. LA Clippers got Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills for PJ Tucker. And I mean, PJ Tucker's situation with the Clippers was clear from the start of the season that he doesn't want to be there. Drew Eubanks, which is going to be solid backup for the Zubats. But now we switch to the main event. Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and 2029 first round pick for Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris, and Utah Jazz is there just, for laughs. They got 2 second round picks and Jalen Hood, which later on they write off. But this is the trade which basically broke the internet and all the news possible in sports areas. It's not what players got exchanged, it's how cheaply Lakers were able to get Doncic. I mean, this news break out to that point, it seemed that they are trading JaVale McGee for Luka Doncic, not Anthony Davis. And the fact they only sent 1 first round pick, and on top of that, Dallas was forced to send even a second round pick to Utah Jazz, is just so abysmal beyond any common sense. Later on, they are trying to justify that trade as Luka was in poor shape. I was like, it makes no sense. This kid, who's 25 years old, first year in the season, he was Rookie of the Year. Next 5, he was 5 times All-NBA first team. And now you're trying to justify it out of the shape. Even he took you by himself to the conference finals. And just a few months ago to the finals. And now you are trading him? This year started really good because until now, he never had a competitive team. The teammates he had were absolute garbage. And you decide to trade him. I mean, still, by this day, it makes no sense. The people I was closest to this, I would agree on, were Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, who said, until this point, we still did not hear a single valid reason why would you trade Luka, who's 25 years old, and it would only make sense if he was 31 or similar age as Anthony Davis to this kind of trade to actually occur. But I'm going to come back to the Mavs later on. Next trade was also very expected. It was talked about almost the whole time. It happened between 3 teams, Chicago Bulls, Sacramento Kings, and San Antonio. The best part is, the team which got the best of everything, I believe, is actually Chicago Bulls. They got Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, and Trey Jones. Meanwhile, Sacramento got Zach LaVine, which makes absolutely zero sense for me. Because right now, all are you doing is assembling Chicago Bulls 2.0. I mean, yes, they got 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. But still, makes no sense. Why would you take Zach LaVine? I get it that DeAndre Fox wanted out, which was another surprise, considering what we were saying just a year ago and the fact that you brought DeMar DeRozan to that team, and it looked really promising. And he just goes, nope, I'm just gonna go. I can't ask myself enough what Vlade Divac has to say about all of this. Next trade was Quentin Grimes to Philadelphia for Caleb Martin. It makes sense considering Quentin Grimes arrived from Detroit Pistons at the start of the season to Dallas Mavericks for Tim Hardaway Jr. But surprising fact was that he refused to sign the extension, which was ballpark of Najee Marshall. It was around $10 million per year, and it was for 3 years, I believe. I mean, he decided to bet on himself, and he played really good. But at this point, it's clear that Dallas does not want to obligate themselves on some kind of big money deals. And especially right now, it would probably cost them minimum $15 million per year to sign Quentin Grimes, who, I mean, the fact that Detroit Pistons, who had all money in the world, did not want to resign him, it tells you a lot. Next one, again, Sacramento Kings. Yet another move which makes no sense for them is Jonas Valanciunas. Why would you sign him next to the Domantas Sabonis? Makes no sense for me. I don't know. I really don't know what they are planning. Yet another long time expected trade is Brandon Ingram to the Toronto Raptors. But this trade was more like my problem for your problem, because they took Bruce Brown, who has $23 million on his contract, and he has probably the worst season right now. I think he's averaging around 8 points. I mean, this Bruce Brown in the last 2 years was not even mild shadow the Bruce Brown we saw in the Denver Nuggets. Los Angeles Lakers are in action again. They got Mark Williams for Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, and 2 first-round picks. Essentially, the asset which should go to Dallas Mavericks for the Luka Doncic. They were able to convert them for Mark Williamson for their new center. But it's kind of sketchy considering he's quite injury prone. I mean, in these 3 years, he played around 80 games, I believe. I'm not exactly sure about that. If he like stays healthy, I think this kid has a really good ceiling. Next one, Philadelphia sent Reggie Jackson, which later on became write-off for a couple of 4 second-round picks. Phoenix Suns back in action. They got Cody Martin and Vasilije Micic. Micic, who was not particularly interested even to play basketball, as it seems. For Jusuf Nurkic, which, I mean, as we all know, it was expected for him to leave the team. What they're going to achieve with him, I guess we're going to see. Oh, this is the trade I really like. Cleveland got DeAndre Hunter from Atlanta Hawks for Chris LeVert, Niang, 2 first-round picks and 3 second one. And I think this is an amazing trade. And the second trade Atlanta participated was, again, trade I really like for LA Clippers is Bogdan Bogdanovic for Terrence Mann, Highland, and 3 second-round pick. I feel bad for the Terrence Mann. I really hoped or think that he's going to have trajectory as a maxi in Philly. But I guess, you know, bringing Harden, Westbrook, and whole mess, and eventually they brought Dallas Mavs, Derrick Jones Jr. And the kid just fell out of the rotation. And I really think he has potential, But I don't know what's going to happen with Atlanta because they got rid of really good core players, but they are still keeping Trae Young. I don't know. And the way they played, I don't know, just. Next. Once again, 3-times team. Sacramento is playing the role there. I mean, Marvin Bagley ended up being in Memphis. Marcus Smart ended up in Washington Wizards, which at this point are just purgatory for the players nobody wants. Detroit got Martin Jr. They later on traded him. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is the trade. Jimmy Butler. I mean, this went to the deepest end of the trades. I was thinking it won't even happen. But finally, it played out somehow. It resulted that at the end, Dennis Schroeder ended up in Detroit for nothing. I mean, that's a big W for Detroit. Jimmy Butler went to Golden State Warriors, but kind of bad side is they gave him, 2 years? It's like, 60 year per year extension. But on the plus side, they didn't had to give a lot considering they had the shooter they acquired previously. They sent Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and Mitchell to the Miami. PJ Tucker once again ended up in the trade going to Toronto. And Utah Jazz once again played the role, I'm going to take whatever you give in my direction. That is Josh Richardson, Martin Jr., and 2 second-round picks. Another it's a 4-team trade, was Kyle Kuzma going to Milwaukee. I mean, this guy is such an idiot. I mean, last year he refused to go to the Dallas and said, "Oh, I like what we built here. I'm gonna stay in Washington Wizards." I mean, congratulations, you fucking idiot. You built one of the biggest mockeries in the history of the teams. I mean, even this year, I mean, as of right now, I believe they've won 3 games in a row, and Washington Wizards still do not have 10 wins this season. It just shows you what kind of shit show of the team was right there. Knicks got DeLon Wright, which doesn't mean shit. San Antonio, Baldwin Jr. Washington got Chris Middleton. I mean, I feel bad for the Chris Middleton. I really like this guy, but I think the biggest bad move was like when they traded for Damian Lillard. They didn't trade him. They traded Drew Holiday, and it just bit them by the ass. I'm just gonna go from teams right now, what all these trades meant for them. Like I said, Cavaliers, I really like the trade they made. And I don't believe they lost that much. Celtics stay where they are, no big moves. Same for the Knicks. Pacers, really disappointing season. I was expecting they're going to be a lot better this year. Bucks, they traded for Kyle Kuzma. We're going to see how this is going to play out. Heat, I mean, I don't see the trades they made moving them anywhere. And I wonder what's going to be with Bam Adebayo. Because I don't think he's willing to waste his time there. Because that team ain't going to take them nowhere. I mean, Detroit Pistons. This is the best example. The fact that you can be 500 team and still ended up being 6th seed in the East, which is going to take you directly to the playoffs. It shows the difference between the Eastern Conference and Western Conference. Orlando Magic, nothing happened occur. Atlanta Hawks, God knows what's going to happen with this team. They are getting rid of some players. I mean, they got Terrence Mann right now. But the fact that Trae Young is still there, it just doesn't make any sense. And especially how bad they play. Chicago Bulls, they got solid deal. I was expecting they're going to get rid of the Vucevic, but somehow he's still there. How that's going to play out, we only can hope for the best for them. I don't know what else to say. Philadelphia 76ers, they fucking suck. I mean, 50 games in and you only have 20 victories and all those names to your credit. I think the best thing for this team would be you need to blow up this team and completely take the OKC approach. You just need to leave Tyrese Maxey, and every player who's older than him, get rid of them. And I don't give a shit about Joel Embiid, Paul George, this, that. I don't give a flying fuck about them. I believe that team, with only Tyrese Maxey, would achieve a lot better than they're doing right now. Nets, there is nothing to be said. They are in complete rebuild, and thanks God they were able to make a buyout for that diabolical mess of Ben Simmons, which once again Philadelphia 76ers played their role. Oh yeah, when we are on 76ers, I forgot to say that Pistons did a great job by getting Dennis Schroeder for nothing, and was the guy, oh my god, who took the money. Tobias Harris, yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with him. Even the money they are paying him right now, I'm not exactly thrilled about them. But when the season ends, they're gonna be able to get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr. or they probably gave him a minimum veteran, considering that he got so much money. He should probably play for the minimum. Where were we? Nets, yeah, nothing. Raptors, they got Brandon Ingram. But Brandon Ingram is not the leader. With Scotty Barnes, I think it's a good base, but you need a team. Maybe I'm gonna throw it there. If they're able to swing Trae Young there. I know, we're gonna see at the end of the season. Charlotte Hornets, I think it was actually a big W for them. They got a ton of the assets. They got young players from the Lakers. And the team right now, let me just go and see. Players. Yeah, LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, Josh Green. Okay, but there is no showing everyone. Grant Williamson is injured. I mean, the team they are having right now is really good. And I don't know, maybe if they're able to persuade or draft really good, we're gonna see how it's gonna play out with them. I mean, Wizards, those guys are fucking idiots and the biggest laughing stock of the league. I mean, like I said, the fact that you have 3 wins right now in a row and you are still don't have the 10 wins mark, it just shows how basically Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, the ring boys, deserve each other. I mean, I just don't want to even waste more time with them. West, Thunder, no big moves, nothing changed. And I mean, they're good to go. They have young core, all the assets they need. Move on. Grizzlies, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with them. I'm afraid it might get beaten in the ass by lack of the experience in the playoffs. We're going to see how that's going to play out. Nuggets are making their way back, dude. Nuggets are really hooping, and I'm a bit surprised on the lack of the trades on their side. I was thinking they're going to make the trade, but I guess they got their shit together and they are finally moving on. Rockets, they're in the beat in a weird spot. They made clear they do not want to trade for the Jimmy Butler or any superstar, and the chemistry is good. But I still think they are one guy like for being a genuine competitor for the championship. Lakers. This is a weird one. Because they got Luka, but I do not believe that they're going to be competitive this year. Even they are overachieving as hell. I mean, last 10 games, they are 8-2. They got the center. I hope Williams is going to be healthy and they're going to be able to hoop. But I think they're going to need some adjustment period to just see how this is going to play out. Timberwolves, I was thinking they might trade Julius Randle. They made a trade for him and Dante DiVincenzo, which I like in this team, for Cat. But I have a feeling that he doesn't fit in, bro. Dante DiVincenzo, yes. But I'm not sold on Julius. I don't know. He has a hard time, and I was thinking that they're going to dump him or try to pull out. But I guess the time will tell. Clippers. Oh, I really like Bogdanovic pick for them. I feel bad for the Terrence man because he got kind of mugged off and he didn't have his chance to prove because they were bringing James Harden, then Russ Westbrook, then they brought Derrick Jones Jr. who played really well. Now you lost his spot when Kawhi is back in rotation. It's one of those things where they're gonna end up probably like every time first, maybe second round in the playoffs, but I do not see past that they're gonna go. Dallas Mavericks. Oh my god, this is like just chaos in total. They're hoping to win a championship in next 2 years. I mean, by judging by the age of Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson, which Klay was playing actually brilliant last few games. He was on fire. One thing doesn't set really well with me. Because when Nico made the press conference disclosing the whole Luka AD trade, the way he was talking was like, oh, we are going to compete for next 2-3 years. One thing was like, hold on, how do you planning to keep the same teams and their constant statement that nobody knew? One person had to know about that, and that's Kyrie Irving. Because Kyrie Irving next year is a player option. So unless you went to the, and considering that you did not resign him, he could just walk away after this season for nothing. And that makes no sense that you're going to get rid of Luka unless you talk with the Kyrie and said, hey dude, can you take us there and can you be the leader for next couple of seasons? So he must have knew for Luka Doncic trade. So much about that, oh, nobody knew, blah, blah, blah. I don't buy the shit for a second. And, okay, maybe they kind of sidelined Jason Kidd, but Kyrie Irving must have his fingers in this trade. But once again, I do not understand how do you trade guy like Luka for that kind of low amount. And considering their record right now, do you really have a steady chance to win championship? I guess we're going to see really short. Phoenix Suns. I mean, this team is a total collapse. I don't know what's happening. This whole drama. One moment we want a Jimmy Butler, but Bradley Beal. I mean, that idiotic trade that you even got the Bradley Beal with no trade clause, and now he doesn't want to go. Then you have Kevin Durant, you are including in the trade. He doesn't even know about any trade. And Devin Booker, I mean, this guy is taking gold medal in hiding behind somebody when the shit hits the fan. I mean, 1 year when they fall out of playoffs, first time it was DeAndre Ayton to blame. Nobody blamed Devin Booker. Then next year, when they got smoked by, I believe, Dallas, it was Chris Paul to blame. Again, Devin Booker is getting no blame. Then next year was coach Monty Williams. Again, Devin Booker is nowhere to be fucking blamed. Then after that, it was Frank Vogel. I mean, you see the pattern. This guy is always the guy, but he's never the guy when you need to blame somebody. I don't know. He's always hiding behind someone, and I don't believe the team like that can move anywhere, which it has been proven many years in the past. Kings, another diabolical team. I just do not understand what's happening. One moment you are getting DeMar DeRozan to help the De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, and team looks really promising. Then next moment, all of a sudden, De'Aaron Fox wants to go to the Spurs, which are even worse team than they were. And then you are bringing Valanciunas. I don't know what's happening over there. Warriors, I mean, it's a nice trade for Jimmy Butler, but how it's going to play out, I just don't know. They didn't have to pay a lot of asset to Miami, but giving him with 35 years on his back and giving them $60 million per year, it's kind of nuts. Spurs, I like this trade for them with Fox, but I think they're gonna need this year just to play in and see how it is gonna play. Trailblazers, Trailblazers, I don't know what's gonna happen with them. There was no significant trades, and how they're gonna proceed in the future, God only knows. Jazz, Utah Jazz. I mean, when I first heard Luka Doncic trade, I was thinking the Utah Jazz probably depleted their stack on him, or even Brooklyn Nets. But as it turns out, they were just aside collecting picks wherever they were able to get them. And for some reason, I think they took a W just getting assets they could get. Pelicans, I mean, at this point, everybody gave up on Pelicans. The season started, everybody was injured. All of a sudden, the only saving grace was Brandon Migran, but then he got injured. And now the rest of the stars are coming to play, but it's absolute mess. I mean, talking about stars not being in the shape, this is when you can say somebody's out of shape. The Pelicans franchise is built around a guy who has serious condition issues, and he's never available. I mean, this guy never took even his team to the playoffs. I would understand if Luka Doncic was Zion Williamson, who is exactly what they are claiming to Luka to be. But this is the best example what they're claiming one thing to be, and another thing is proven otherwise. What's going to happen with the Pelicans? It's just at this point unknown. With all those names, I mean, McCollum, who is else there? Players. Murray. I mean, when you look the names, this team should be at least fighting. I mean, fighting for the playoffs is dumb to say. In the top 6. But the fact they are stood down so badly, God only knows. I mean, we have few more days. Let me just go check. Of free agents and players who are being written off. Trades. Let's just check it. Something new popped out. Nah, transactions. No. I guess this is it. We're going to see a couple of days if anybody's going to sign one of those buyout agents like Ben Simmons. I mean, God help anyone who signs him, considering how much he didn't play. Okay, that's it. This just took me long. Take care, guys.